Welcome to TMZ Live. So David is now behind bars, and there is a lot going on behind the scenes. Right now, there is a preliminary hearing scheduled for late next week.
9 days.
Where the DA is going to have to present enough evidence to hold him for trial. The defense is basically saying, oh, really? You arrested him and then you charge him Monday? Well, we're going to ask for a prelim. So we will see what the DA puts on the table.
What prelim means, why that's significant.
You have to put enough evidence there so that the judge says there is sufficient evidence for him to stand trial. If the judge doesn't think there is, then he walks, and now they could refile, but I don't think the DA wants that.
Right, and there is another path the DA could take here to avoid that, but even that could be very difficult considering the time constraints that the prosecutors have.
The DA could go to the grand jury, and they could get a quick indictment if they're able to do that, and then if you get an indictment by a grand jury, there's no right to a preliminary hearing. It goes away. But they have to do that probably this week if they're going to do it, and don't count that out. We asked the DA that, and they said, we don't talk about that. So now the interesting thing, we're going to bring Mark Geragos in a minute, but the interesting thing about this case is that the DA held a news conference and said, we have forensic and digital evidence that shows that David murdered Celeste Rivas. Now, it would seem that the digital evidence would probably be something like a text saying, I am going to expose our sexual relationship, given that she was 13 at the time, and that he then said, come over to my house, and that's the last time she was ever seen.
So that text or email, whatever that digital message is that was sent, that would go to what his motive would be. But where's the evidence that he actually did it? And I say that only because his attorneys have said he did not take her life, right? So maybe he was involved in something else, in the body ending up in the car, but they said he did not take his life.
Right.
So obviously the DA did not say this during their news conference yesterday. How do they know what happened when she shows up at his house?
So we have still, as of the time we're doing this, which is 11 o'clock a.m. In Los Angeles, the medical examiner has not released the autopsy report, but the DA said that she died as a result of a sharp instrument.
Right.
Now,
could be stabbing, could be slashing, but
here's the thing that we were kicking around here. Her body was dismembered. And so if it's dismembered, they're using a sharp instrument. So how do they distinguish the dismemberment from the alleged murder with a sharp instrument?
All those some of those details we do expect to be in the medical examiner's report, which has not been released yet. And by the way, the police department made a move months ago to make sure it did not get out, suppressing, getting a court order that barred them from actually releasing.
And that was controversial because the medical examiner wanted to release the findings. So there was a dogfight there. Let's bring in our pal, Mark Geragos.
Yes, famed defense attorney and also co-host of the Two Angry Men podcast. Mark Geragos, welcome back.
Thank you, Charles. And as an angry man, I riled up Harvey, so I did my job this morning.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and we've all been reaping the benefits of that. Thanks, Mark.
Yes, that's what I do best. By the way, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why is it when the DA does his interviews and he says, well, the court ordered the medical examiner to release their findings and we're waiting for it, that he leaves out what Charles just mentioned, which is they went not once but twice to shut down the medical examiner, who, by the way, was not happy about it, and in an unprecedented move, posted on the website about that.
Yeah. So listen, the DA is absolutely taking issue with something you said on our podcast. You said that the LAPD essentially went rogue and decided to arrest David Thursday late afternoon because the DA wasn't taking action and that it would force the DA's hand to do something. The DA's office told us as recently as this morning, on the record, that everything the DA and LAPD did was in lockstep and that this was coordinated. To that, you say what?
I call BS on that, by the way, because the fact, if it was coordinated and if they were going to bring a special circumstance, no bail, 3 different special circumstances charge, they would have filed a criminal complaint or they would have gotten an indictment. There's gamesmanship happening here, and you will continue to see gamesmanship, because I'm going to make another bold prediction. They did not expect the defense to fail to waive time, meaning normally what they would have expected in the DA's office is they dump terabytes of information on the defense. The defense says, Your Honor, we don't have time to digest all of this. We need more time. We're going to waive our right to a speedy preliminary hearing. They didn't do that. The defense did. They actually made the next chess move and said, we're not waiving time. We want our speedy preliminary hearing, which pushes back on the DA, who's now going to have to call an audible and try to go to the so-called investigative grand jury, which I find to be hilarious. And they will go get an indictment, because they're not going to put witnesses on in a case where 2 months, you guys may remember this, 2 months after her discovery of her body, LAPD was saying we're not even sure a crime was committed. So understand everything that has happened here. This was LAPD after they received information that when they went outside of the ME's office, medical examiner's office, they then forced the DA to file this case.
So you don't think the DA wanted to or was ready to yet?
No, not at all. And in fact, they haven't answered the question. In fact, I think they wheeled on the TMZ reporter who asked that question and wouldn't answer it in the press conference. It's the idea that after 7 or 8 months of an investigation where you put witnesses in front of a grand jury, and then all of a sudden you're going to arrest somebody on a Thursday afternoon, knowing that under these peculiar LA County rules, you don't have to take somebody in front of a judge until Monday morning, that speaks volumes. And the fact that they haven't addressed that, I think, tells you everything you need to know.
Well, but Mark, that would make it seem like you're saying they did it on Thursday afternoon because they knew they'd have until Monday. That makes it sound like the DA was in on it.
No, the DA, it forces the DA, because the DA's got 3 days basically, or going into the 4th day, to file the case, file the complaint. If they were ready to file the complaint, they would have filed it and they would have picked him up on that, and they would have been forced to go in front of a magistrate almost immediately. But because of the quirks, they were able to do it in this fashion.
So, Mark, the thing that really struck me was the business about the sharp instrument. I don't know if it lands with you the way it does with me, but it's like the body was dismembered, put in 2 bags. So it was severely dismembered and decomposed. And you dismember a body with a sharp instrument. I mean, that's the only way of doing it. So it's just confusing to me how the coroner.
How did they find?
Well,
yeah,
It's not confusing when you put it in context. I had the exact same reaction you two did. And what that tells me, at least, is they had to deal with the fact of the cause and manner. And the only way they could do it was invent this idea that she was killed by a blunt instrument.
Sharp instrument.
Sharp instrument. I'm sorry. And they have to navigate that, because that's the only way that they can come up with some kind of an explanation. There isn't any expert who's going to say beyond a medical certainty that was done as a pre-death as opposed to post-death. There's terms for that, but a cross-examination will reveal that that's not a medical certainty, and that's complete speculation.
So the grand jury, is that something that you can easily, and would they use the same grand jury that they've had
They have to.
since November.
They have to because
They have to use that same
they
grand
got to
jury.
do this quickly, and that grand jury's heard all the evidence. If you get a new grand jury, it's going to take a long time.
They could put the investigating officer on. They could have the investigating officer testify as to the hearsay in the grand jury to a new grand jury. They can get an indictment immediately. The one problem they've got is there is this peculiar and I don't think it's peculiar, I think it's due process, a case called Johnson in California, where if they know of exculpatory evidence, they have to also present that to the grand jury. So my guess is that the defense right now is putting together a binder of exculpatory evidence, delivering that to the DA and saying, if you go to the grand jury,
You got to show them this.
You got to show them this.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're out of time, but I just wanted to thank you because I've been to your office, and it's a really nice office with views and everything else.
So thanks
and you
for
picked
putting
such a
yourself in a
nice
closet.
background. Yeah, you look like you're in jail.
Okay, you know where I am, by the way, and I made the effort to come and do this for you as I'm sitting at the James mediation. I go into a room that's nice and quiet, and then I get slammed by you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come back and I'm going to rile you up again. You're old enough. You're old enough to
No, why
remember
don't you?
when I
Yeah,
was on
that's
the
why you
39th
riled me
floor.
up.
There you
I'm
go.
so sick
Wow.
of you're old enough to remember. Stop it. That's what triggered me. Stop it.
Yes.
Save it for the podcast, gentlemen. Save it for the podcast.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Mark.
guys.
See ya.
Charles, better you than me.
Yeah.
Coming up.
11 scientists or former members of the military have disappeared or died over the last 4 years. And this is turning into a huge mystery that now the FBI is looking into. The House Oversight Committee is now also looking into that.
Be right back.
There is a mysterious pattern involving some people who have had access to government secrets, NASA secrets, our nuclear program.
These are
11
these are scientists.
11 scientists or former members of the military have disappeared or died over the last 4 years. And this is turning into a huge mystery that now the FBI is looking into. President Trump talked about it last week.
And
He's been briefed on it.
And we should say, I mean, some of them have just disappeared, left their homes. Some had gone for a hike, left all their belongings at home, and then vanished.
And others have died in several different ways, which we're going to get into. But the House Oversight Committee is now also looking into that. And joining us now is a member of the committee, Representative James Comer. Welcome to TMZ Live. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
We should say,
Thank you.
I believe chairman, correct?
Chairman, yes.
Yes.
So, look, these are kind of disconnected dots so far. Are you starting to see any connection? Because I'm looking at their ages, and these are not old people that just kind of wither and die.
Some are.
Some are, but there are a lot of people in their 40s. So I'm wondering, have you guys started to connect dots here?
We're still trying to get information from all the different government agencies. And one thing I've learned as chairman of this committee over the past 3.5 years, and that spans over 2 presidential administrations, is government agencies don't share information very well. This story is just now getting on everybody's radar screen. And what I think you'll see here is what happens many times in other investigations we've tried to conduct is the Department of Energy may not know what NASA had, and NASA may not know what the Department of War had. But what we all know is 11 scientists have either died or are missing. They're all connected in some form or fashion to our nuclear program. What we're seeing in Iran now has everything to do with our nuclear program. A lot of the challenges we have with Russia and China and North Korea also revolve around our nuclear program and their nuclear programs. So this is something that I think is an issue of national security. No one knows for certain yet whether or not these are all connected, but it looks awful fishy. It does not pass the smell test. I don't have 100% confidence in the federal government's ability or willingness sometimes to investigate these types of things. So we're taking it up in the House Oversight Committee, and hopefully it'll be a bipartisan investigation. Hopefully we'll be able to get the information and share it with the public.
Congressman, I've been around for a long time and have seen, from the Kennedy assassination forward, that when the government wants to keep something secret, they seem to be able to do it. Certainly, in my mind, the Kennedy assassination, but also the government has not been forthcoming with UFOs, arguably Epstein, and I'm wondering, you talk about this kind of disparate government with a federal agency here and a federal agency there. Do you think because it is so disparate and that some of these agencies might not want the truth out, that you're going to have a hard time getting to the bottom of this? Because there's a long history of that.
Yes, I do. And no one's more frustrated with what you just said than I am. We battled with the Biden administration. Now we're battling with the Trump administration to get access to files pertaining to the UFO, pertaining to Epstein, pertaining now to the 11 dead or missing scientists. These are things that every American wants to know. My constituents in Kentucky want to know. I want to know. The members of Congress, we should know. But getting that information is very difficult. I don't necessarily blame President Trump. Who I blame are the bureaucrats that lead these government agencies. The bureaucrats, in my experience, have this elitist, entitled attitude that their knowledge is superior to everyone else. And in that movie with Tom Cruise, where they say you can't handle the truth, that's kind of the attitude that a lot of these unelected bureaucrats have. So we're going to do everything we can to get the information, because I think it's very possible, as I said earlier, that maybe NASA or maybe the Department of Energy has no idea what the Department of War or another government agency has. So we're trying to get it all together. We're forcing the FBI to get involved. And until a week ago, they weren't involved. And honestly, I don't think the FBI even knew about this. So we're using our bully pulpit as the oversight committee, which I think is the most high-profile committee in Congress, our ability to subpoena documents, and we're doing everything we can to try to get answers for the American people. Because again, we fear this could be a national security concern. I hope our government isn't trying to cover up anything. I have no reason to believe they are, but we're going to do everything we can to get answers.
What's the greatest fear here, that this is some sort of foreign espionage that's involved here? Or is it on the more outlandish, at least I think, theory that is going out there? A lot of people are jumping on this, saying that this is aliens, or that it has something to do with UFOs, and that aliens have abducted some of these people. Yeah. One of those I'm really concerned about, and the other seems very far-fetched.
I'm not concerned about the alien part. My concern is obviously the usual suspects: China, Iran, Russia. These countries want our nuclear intellectual property. And again, I have no evidence to believe that they were involved in it, but I have no trust for those countries either. And I want to do everything in my ability as chairman of this committee to investigate it, to try to see if there's a way to connect the dots, and to push the FBI and potentially the CIA or anyone else that has the ability to go overseas and access information and question people and use sources over there to see if there's anything sinister taking place here.
And then finally, if there is something sinister taking place, and if people were abducted, that would mean that a foreign nation abducted Americans who are now being held hostage somewhere else. And that really does raise things to a different level, not just about technology, but about Americans being kidnapped and held hostage. That's as serious as it gets.
It's as serious as it gets. And a lot of these government agencies, in my opinion, would take the attitude, well, we don't need to let this get out. We need to try to solve this diplomatically. That's the attitude of a lot of bureaucrats in the State Department and in some of our intelligence agencies. I've been very critical of those agencies and their what I call deep state attitudes. At the end of the day, we want to know the truth. The families deserve to know the truth. The American people deserve to know the truth. And again, we don't know if these are all connected, but it's very suspicious, and the odds are extremely high that these are all happening by coincidence.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Congressman.
Coming up.
Our TMZ DC crew is killing it. I mean, they are out there every day pounding the streets.
It's like we're getting these conversations that no one gets in DC.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at.
TMZ.
Our TMZ DC crew is killing it. I mean, they are out there every day pounding the streets, and they are having these great conversations with our elected representatives where you learn
to
all
quote
kinds
Donald
of things
Trump,
about
the
them.
likes of which you've never seen. It's really true. It's like we're getting these conversations that no one gets in DC.
Yeah, you're actually getting to know
and off the cuff. And off the cuff.
So the latest one, and this one is very interesting because Jacob ran into Congressman McGarvey from Kentucky, Morgan McGarvey, and had a conversation with him about something we've all heard about over the years. There's a Congressional Baseball Game.
May 10th.
And it is coming up soon, and Congressman McGarvey is going to be playing in it. Now, we always hear about this, and it's supposed to be a fun thing where they forget about the politics and they just go out and play baseball.
But here's the thing.
Jacob has an idea.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that there is just gridlock in D.C., that nothing gets passed. They still haven't funded Homeland Security after 6 weeks. So Jacob's got a plan to put some stakes on the game.
I'm not saying that this is a good plan, but it's a plan.
If you're the MVP, like, you should be able to bring whatever bill you want, like, and say, all right, guys, you all got to get on board. Like, I had a jack in the baseball game. Like, time for you to rally around me. Like, I feel, or at least they should have some sort of advantage when it comes to being on the congressional floor. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, I think we should think about that. I like where you're going. Let's fine tune.
Or at least some betting. Like, we
Fine-tune.
got to have, like, a betting aspect to this,
Right,
you know?
Because, like, you know, depending on who the MVP is, that might not be a bill we want to bring to the floor. But
Exactly.
I like the idea.
Well, here's the thing. They can't agree on anything now. So I know it sounds kind of wonky, but, you know,
I just, I mean, by the way, the other part of the conversation is that McGarvey said, you know, I did get a hit last year, so I know what would I get for that? Like, everyone's going to be trying to, trying to pack their stats.
Right. Well, he's
so that they
worried.
can get
He's
a vote.
worried because the Dems
haven't won.
They've lost, I think, 6 or 7 years in a row. And next year, they don't stand a chance.
No, it looks like Mark Teixeira, who is a New York Yankees superstar, like hundreds of home runs in his career, is going to be in Congress next year, and they stand no chance.
I mean, if he wins
the
right.
election.
Home run, it'll be just...
So if Jacob's idea sticks, everybody who runs is going to be a baseball player.
Yeah.
And they're going to run. They're going to run based on runs batted in.
The only thing I can say, the good news here, is Jacob's idea is not going to stick. So
I don't know. You know,
who's going to sign on
Listen,
for that?
back in the day, remember?
People thought Einstein was crazy.
Back in the day, Major League Baseball, they wanted to find a way to make the All-Star game interesting, and they put some stakes on the line. And I think that's what the congressional game needs here.
Did you just compare Jacob to Einstein?
A little bit.
You regret
Smart
that,
guy.
don't
I
Jacob.
love Jacob. Jacob is
Smart
great.
guy.
Hi, I'm Carly. I'm from the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas to be exact, but I currently live in D.C. I think it's a funny idea letting someone pass a bill just for winning a game, but I think it feels a little weird. It kind of shows that people want more action and less talk from Congress.
But you're not getting action. That's the thing. This kind of gooses them a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
You should go to the Hill and run into them. They're really charming guys. Seriously.
I prefer not to, you know.
Fair enough. You know, they're an acquired taste. Reese Witherspoon is backing down off something she said about AI. And I think the only reason she's backing down is because she's gotten a lot of backlash over this. And I would imagine in Hollywood, she would especially get a lot of backlash.
I know where this is
We know
going.
the concerns that Hollywood and several other industries have had about AI costing people jobs. Well, Reese went on recently and posted this video which seems like a very full-throated support for AI.
With 10 women at a book club yesterday, and I said to the 10 of them, how many of you guys use AI? And only 3 of them used AI. If 3 out of 10 women are the only ones using AI, that means 70% of that group is not keeping up. The thing I've learned about technology is if you don't get a little bit of understanding from the very beginning, it just speeds past you. So you have to have little bits of learning just to keep up. And let's get real, our kids are all using this every single day. I think we should learn the basics together and learn some really good tools that are gonna make our everyday lives easier and better.
I'm totally down with that.
It all seems reasonable, right?
It was
I know
totally,
you would be down with that.
That was perfect.
Here's the part you're not down with, because after she posted that video, and most of the comments were like, what are you talking about? You know, it's gonna cost all of us jobs, and you're telling people that they should be loving this? So now she has changed her tone just a bit and said, to be clear, no one is paying me to talk about this. We'll get to that in a second. She says, I'm just a curious human. My kids are learning about AI tools. I know a lot of founders who are vibe coding, don't know what that means, and I hear about people using AI in every sector of business.
Why would she walk back something where it's like saying, 20 years ago, don't learn the internet. Don't go on the internet. It's going to ruin society. And what she says would have applied to the internet.
I don't think my generation necessarily agrees with that stance. I think AI is taking a lot of jobs away. I think she works in the film industry, which is also experiencing a lot of job losses. And she has been talking about AI for months. This isn't the first time that she's brought it up.
This is the future. Like it or not, AI is going to take over jobs.
Why is AI taking over? What has it accomplished aside from coding?
What does it accomplish?
Yes, there are these big promises for AI.
We had Dr. Terry Dubrow on saying there aren't going to be doctors because AI can do it better.
But can it do it now?
No,
yes.
but it will.
That's how it gets.
I mean, but they've been saying this for a decade. They've been saying every year that it's going to write an article, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, and it hasn't.
Get on the train.
It's
happening, folks. And it's going to take over jobs, and our society is going to look fundamentally different in 20 years.
Which is fine. I just want someone to explain to me, and no one has. I've asked everyone,
what
does vibe coding mean?
She doesn't even know what vibe coding is.
Do you know what vibe coding is? No, you don't.
It's when you get like a vibe.
No, doesn't know.
Coming up.
Let's get to Mariah Carey, because she got done dirty.
Totally done dirty.
Mariah Carey,
who has 19 #1 hits,
did not get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. It is her 3rd time being nominated.
It's a travesty.
Still can't get it. I call it the crime of the century.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. These are not uniforms. This
okay, why are you
it's because it bugs me. I see it out of the corner of my eye in the monitor, and the fact that it's just...
God, just get over it, man.
All right, so let's get to Mariah Carey. Because she got done dirty, if you ask me.
She's totally done dirty.
Mariah Carey,
who has 19 #1 hits,
did not get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. It is her 3rd time being nominated.
It's a travesty.
Still can't get it. I call it the crime of the century. Musical crime of the century.
Yeah.
But what does Mariah think? Well, we got her out in New York City and asked her, all of her fans are up in arms about this. How does Mariah feel about it? Here's what she said.
You won so many awards. Do you care about the rock and roll inductee thing? No. What's your message to your fans that have been defending you for not being inducted? What do you say to your fans?
Thank you. I love my fans, always. Thank you so much, Queen.
And we're happy that it's, not the biggest deal to you. Because you've already won a lot of awards,
Yeah, who cares? Like, give it to somebody else. Fantastic.
But I don't like how they're disrespecting you. You're a legend. You deserve everything.
Period.
You work so hard.
Mariah, what's next?
Mariah, my hero.
What's next? Can I rest a minute?
Period. Take your break. Wait, we gotta ask you, when do you start preparing for Christmas? Has that already happened?
Christmas is going on, yes.
She doesn't want to talk Christmas.
Are we buying that? I don't know. Are we buying that she doesn't care?
I think she would love to get in, but I don't think it's the biggest deal for her to not get in this year.
I think she would like to be in. Yeah. We know Mariah likes her #1 hits. She likes awards and stuff, but I don't think she's losing sleep over it because she's Mariah Carey.
She's Mariah Carey.
She wins.
She knows she's going to get in
eventually.
And I don't.
But why do we care? They're so tone deaf at this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How many years did it take Whitney Houston? Or how many tries?
Quite a few, and she got in after she died.
How do you not let Whitney Houston in the Rock and Roll?
Because what happened with Whitney Houston is she was the start of like, this is when they decided they had to expand their horizons, right? That it wasn't going to be just traditional, pure rock and roll artists. And voters had to sort of warm up to that.
But didn't they weren't they hot and cold on that? I mean, they had other people who were not.
They had people that were like seen as cool, like the blues and R&B people. Like, okay, we can get them in, and then eventually they put in like ABBA and the Bee Gees, and then they're like, okay, we can accept these big pop,
which I think is great.
They are
music.
But why isn't Mariah in? Why didn't Mariah get in this last time?
I mean, she's got the stats.
It's been 3 times.
So
she's one behind the Beatles.
And it's not just that she has big pop hits. Like I always say, she is a songwriter. Of her 19 number ones, she wrote 18 of them. She's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. She has had a huge influence on music. She started incorporating rappers into pop songs in the 90s when other people weren't doing that. In every metric, she should be in.
She knows who she is. She knows she's Mariah. She's very aware of that. So
I should not test my memory because I had a bad experience today.
Oh,
but wasn't Mariah Carey the one, like 8 or 9 years ago, who was asked about somebody she was having a feud with, and she said, "I'm unfamiliar with that. Who is it?"
No, it's the Jennifer Lopez.
It's
and they asked about Jennifer
Lopez,
Lopez, and she goes, "I don't know her."
I don't know her.
Which is iconic,
right? Even though she did. So I think when she's saying,
Rock
"I don't
Roll
really
Hall of Fame,
care,"
I don't know
I
them.
really care.
She
I was
does,
right.
but
I was right.
We were both so very nervous.
Yeah, I know. Who knows what you're gonna say?
I'm Brady Younger. I'm calling from Nashville, Tennessee today, and I think Mariah should be in the Hall of Fame, but she seems very unbothered by this whole situation, and I think that her fans are way more upset than she is.
Sorry for the eye roll.
Oh, you already eye rolled?
I eye rolled.
Wow, because he knows what's coming up. The fact that Kanye West paid a visit to a particular location here in LA, which is extremely relevant and maybe to some people
sacred,
concerning.
And this is a sacred place.
He went to the Simon Wiesenthal Center, which is connected to the Museum of Tolerance here in Los Angeles. We're not sure what he was doing in there, but he clearly went in and had a conversation with officials there. He did not want to answer any questions when he came out, not shockingly, but it seems like part of his apology tour.
England, right? England and France.
Well, you could look at it 2 ways. So we're told he was there for about an hour and a half doing one of the courses there at the Museum of Tolerance. He left. Obviously, he didn't answer our questions, but you could look at it as like either he's walking the talk now and is doing that, or this is like a PR stunt so that he can start performing again.
Here's my issue with it. My issue is that sometimes if somebody blurts out something that shows just real ignorance, that something like this is helpful. That's one thing. But when you start saying you love Hitler, you love the Nazis, and you say it not once, twice, but you say it over a period of years,
right?
Then going to take a course just doesn't
So there,
feel...
is there anything he can do?
I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
look, I agree with you that that's very concerning, the fact that he said it so many times. I
over
totally
a
see that.
long period of time.
Right. Is it possible that he was saying it for some other purpose without actually having the knowledge, which he should? I agree with you. A man of his age should absolutely know what it means to say, "I love Hitler." He should know that. But maybe he doesn't. And maybe he's genuinely taking the steps to actually learn that. I know that's
because
I know this. The people at the Museum of Tolerance aren't going to let him come in and just do a PR thing, right? They're going to actually
do what? Call him out on it?
Hold his feet to the fire.
Try to teach him and hope that he takes whatever he learns and applies it.
Here's what happens when you say things like that.
I know it's possible. I know it's possible.
Maybe they're going to teach him not only is it mean-spirited and bigoted, but it causes actual harm because of how people react to things he says. If they can actually drill that down in his head, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Jessica, Charlotte, North Carolina. Ultimately, Kanye West is one of those people that loves the conspiracy theory positioning, and he loves to be against a person or a group of people. And ultimately, I agree with you guys. I think that this is in an effort to make amends for some major PR damage control or PR campaign to either expand his reach or to take it further, to simply just be able to reach out to different business ventures. Now, of course, Kanye West is one of those people that loves to have the mental health versus responsibility debate. We're always trying to figure out, is he having a crash out or is he going to be responsible? And then beyond that, we already know that Kanye West is a redemption versus reputation management persona. And lastly, we know he lives in that aura of controversy, apology, and reconciliation cycle that seems to never end. So can we really trust that?
You said it all. Yeah. You really did.
Coming up.
Well, we're about to get to the bottom of one of the great political mysteries of our time. What in the hell was Farrah Abraham thinking that she was going to be running for office down in Texas? Now she's explaining what happened.
Be right back.
Well, we're about to get to the bottom of one of the great political mysteries of our time. What in the hell was Farrah Abraham thinking that she was going to be running for office down in Texas, where she is living now? You may recall, a few months ago, we had her on. She was announcing the fact that she was going to be running for mayor of, was it Austin?
In 2026. Thing is, there ain't no election in 2026. It's 2 years later, 2028. And we had to break it to her on the show. So she's on a podcast.
Yeah, she's on Harry Jowsey's podcast, Boyfriend Material, and her political career came up. And now she's explaining what happened.
I actually thought I could run for mayor. Shout out to everybody who's like, I'm going to move to Austin if Farrah's running for mayor.
Yeah.
But whoa. Couldn't do that because for some reason they actually skipped like the mayor run in the primaries for this year, and then they're just holding it out for 2 years later.
Because they knew you were going to win.
Yeah. And I don't know, someone at the city hall thought it would be funny to then like announce that and register me for it. So then I had to do like an amendment and just say I'm going to be like local district. So that's what I ended up changing it to. But I do plan on running for mayor once it's right.
Wait, why did you decide to do that? That's so fun.
Because I was like, you know what? I guess I'm going to exist out of spite.
Say what?
So
say what?
First of all,
none of that made any sense.
I know, but she sounds like a politician now. Makes no sense.
Someone at City Hall registered her to run for mayor,
and that they
in a year,
and they skipped the primaries. No, they didn't skip it. It's scheduled for 2028.
Right.
This is what happened when Farrah was on TMZ Live.
Hilarious.
The current mayor was elected in 2024, and they're 4-year terms.
So that would be 2028.
So that seems like it is 2028.
I don't know, guys. I heard they were 2-year terms, so I think I'm getting something different than you guys.
We're going to get you some clarity in a second. Okay, we're being told, Farrah,
Look,
it's 2028.
Here's the thing. If I'm positive one way and hearing from someone else in a different state, but I'm hearing a different thing in the state in which I am, then I think like let's do an interview another time, right?
Like in 2028, how about that?
What just
I am sobbing. I mean, I think it's so funny too that I didn't know anyone was moving to Texas because
that was the best.
running.
She's like, yeah, no, shout out to everyone who was moving to Austin because Farrah was running.
You know what? I like her. It's so goofy, but I like her.
But to say someone from City Hall pranked her.
No, I love that
crazy.
she's taking something that is.
When in doubt, start a conspiracy theory.
Just blame City Hall.
There'll be people who will jump on board.
She's starting her campaign early. This might help her.
I do believe she's going to actually run.
Oh,
at some
for
point.
sure.
Hi, my name's Alicia Scott from Chicago, Illinois, and I think Farrah definitely gave us all a good laugh when we saw the realization on her face that the elections are actually in 2028. But I think having this time can give her time to work on her campaign and maybe think about what she's promoting, because she did use AI in her campaign. If that's something she wants to promote, maybe think about that. So I think this just gives her some time. Let's see what she does.
Coming up.
You got to feel for Sydney Sweeney. Certainly, we do.
We do.
What she's going through right now, which has got to be so many different emotions. Sydney Sweeney got cut from Devil Wears Prada 2.
Be right back.
You got to feel for Sydney Sweeney. Certainly, we do.
We do.
Feel very much for
Boy, do we.
What she's going through right now, which has got to be so many different emotions. Sydney Sweeney got
sadness,
cut from
defeat.
Show me sadness. Show me defeat. Show me happiness. All the same. Sydney Sweeney got cut from Devil Wears Prada 2. She was actually supposed to be in the movie.
They filmed it.
Yeah, she actually went and filmed her role. She was supposed to be playing herself. I'm not sure exactly what the scene was going to be.
It was a walk-on
thing.
It was a walk-on thing.
But they ended up cutting it from the film.
Here's what I think. I think this movie is hotly anticipated, but is largely for women. And I don't think women are big fans of Sydney Sweeney. I think Sydney Sweeney is considered an object of the male gaze. She's sort of cheesecake, like a little bit of a Betty Boop. Male gaze.
G-A-Z-E.
G-A-Z-E, yes. Although I don't know, you tell me. You love Sydney too. She's for everyone. But I think she might turn off some women, and they expect to flood the theaters with lots of women.
But that doesn't make sense, because first of all,
but who's it going to be a turnoff to?
Sydney Sweeney is a movie star. It's not just men that go see her.
That's fair. And she was in The Housemaid. She's obviously bankable.
Right.
She's a big star.
Huge star.
There's no doubt about it. And it's just a walk-on.
Maybe they felt like it was going to come across like kind of a stunt. And they wanted to.
Do they have?
But in sequels,
do they have cameos in the movie?
Always. In Devil Wears Prada 1, there were cameos because it's a movie about high fashion and Anna Wintour and so forth. So there's tons of walk-ons. Now, does Sydney fit this? There's a turnoff to people, so I think they calculated
it's not
it
a
didn't work.
turnoff. She's a huge star. She has women in seats.
I would love to see. I will go see Sydney.
In what seats?
In movie theater seats. She does.
And why not make a big tent? If you want a big movie, you're going to need men to go to the movies as well. And I am going to see a Sydney Sweeney.
Right. So
you think a
the
woman
guy has an excuse to go when his girlfriend or his wife is like, come on, we're going to go see Devil Wears Prada.
I want to see her in the Devil Wears.
My ear. Would you not see Devil Wears Prada because Sydney Sweeney's in it? That was a male who said. that was a male who said.
Someone chimed in.
Asha. Los Angeles. Honestly, I think we're a little too overexposed to Sydney. Totally fine that she got cut from Devil Wears Prada. There's already so many celebrities in it. I don't think we're going to be missing her cameo very much.
Coming up.
Drake is making a big comeback. Everyone has been waiting for his first solo album that ever since the Kendrick dust-up. And he has pulled quite a impressive stunt in Toronto to promote his new album, Iceman.
Be right back.
Drake is making a big comeback. Everyone has been waiting for his first full album, solo album, and he has pulled quite a impressive stunt in Toronto to promote his new album, Iceman.
Whoa!
Just dropping a ton of
is
ice.
Something.
In a parking lot in Toronto.
But it's something that's inside the ice.
Yes, which now, have they said how long they think this is going to take?
It takes a week for it to melt
down?
Yeah, but there's something in the inside the ice that you win something if you're the guy that finds
it. So is this the idea
all the
that
fans
everybody comes by?
Yeah, the album release date's inside. So the fan who finds it, they're
Wait a
bragging.
second, is that someone to start on a bonfire next to the...
This is fabulous. They found it already?
They found it?
Okay, we don't have time right now, but check out TMZ.com and we'll tell you whether he found the album release date or not.
See you tomorrow.